Tim, you put it really, really well. You sort of Pareto distributioned the technology between humans and the technology, and I think you're spot on. I think one of my main sort of fears, especially with Dr. Basit, when we speak to clients and consult, is managing the expectations. This is not the first time. I mean, when people wanted websites for the first time, you had to manage their expectations. When people wanted mobile applications, I mean, managing expectations, asking them, why do you want a mobile application? And so forth. And even like, let's not go too far back. I mean, 5-10 years ago, before COVID, when people would talk about chatbots, they wanted a chatbot for the sake of a chatbot, not so much about user experience or any of those considerations. So I think one of my major challenges is sort of reining them back and saying, hold your horses, like you said, take baby steps, trial it, see how it works for you, understand what all is involved before you take the big leap. Now, this is also sort of related to, like, I think a broader question related to how these technologies will affect the human capital in organizations or the human workforce. What do you think the impact of this is going to be in the short and long?
Honestly, so I would really like to say we're going to see AI improve people's productivity, help them do their jobs to the very best of their ability. And I think that, there is absolutely an element to that. We're going to see more on-screen prompts and faster resolutions, etc., etc. So that will definitely happen. But I'm also going to be completely honest and say, I think, if we talk specifically about call centers, I think we are going to see the more transactional aspects of customer calls coming in and simple activities being automated. I think that is inevitable. In my own personal opinion, I think probably 80% of call center interactions will be automated in the next 5 years. But what that does mean is that there will still be that 20% that isn't. Right? I think there will always be some activities that a human is better placed to do. And, AI can absolutely help them. But when it comes to, really complex problems or people who just need a bit of empathy, there needs to be that human relationship. I think we are going to see, an increased need for that at that higher end of the activities. So we're going to need more people who are empathetic, multi-skilled, and able to do the more complex tasks. But I will say something else as well. I think it's been mentioned before, but I think there's almost a sort of luxury element here where there may be some organizations that want to say, well, actually, you know what? We want to have a premium service and we want that to be human-based. And I think that will become, much more sought after. Like I say, not the very, very simple transactions, but towards the higher end. So it's about giving customers the choice. If at 3 a.m. I want to do a SIM swap or report a fault or something, I might just want to do that on my laptop and I want to have the ability to do that with no fuss. But if I actually want to talk to someone about problems that I'm having, I want to be able to talk to a human, not a computer. So choice and transparency is key, and that allows customers to build trust with us. And I think that's fundamental.
This concept of having CSR access or customer sales representative access as a freemium or a premium, sort of feature, it's been done with old school legacy IVR based voice systems. Like I said, I won't run the telco under the bus, but let's just say, I think it's a bit questionable in the sense that they were using ARPU or average revenue per user as a determining factor to whether they should even give them access to a customer service agent. But anyway, so it's not unheard of. This is something that's been happening in the past as well. Dr. Basit.
Within the context of the strategic landscape that we discussed earlier, it's very, very important to understand how this has evolved in the past and how this will evolve. We all know that technology has augmented human beings and our activities. And in some cases, technology has displaced certain tasks, but those tasks has been replaced by other tasks that human beings do. And I think here it's a similar perspective. The important point is to understand where this will occur. The rise of Gen AI means that invariably Gen AI and Agentics can perform activities that were traditionally performed by human beings. But we all know the nature of this technology and the restrictions that exist at the moment. And so what Gen AI will do will help in the relatively simple tasks where the nature of the decision required isn't too complicated, just because our models are not at that sophisticated level. But for sure, what will happen is, say in contact centers or customer interactions, where the interactions can be split into a spectrum of simple, relatively simple, and a bit more complicated, Agentics will come in, where the simple and relatively simple tasks will be automated to the point where a human being is interacting with Gen AI assistant, and that Gen AI assistant will then initiate other activities and resolve the solution completely. I think it'll take some time for this technology to settle at a stable level, and I think the next 3-4 years will indicate that the conversion of voice recordings into Gen AI and the activities on that very much on the rise. And I think we will see that taking root and actually becoming a norm within the telco customer-centric operations.